For any Xbox or PlayStation codes or cheap games on any platform, use the referral link in the description. It'll take you to g2a.com. Use the promo code CHES over there and you'll get yourself 3% cash back. For all No Identity merchandise, hats, hoodies and t-shirts, follow the link in the description down below to the No Identity Fan Fiber website. Hey guys, welcome to episode number 23 of Season 2 here at Rail Oviedo. This is the final season, or final episode, sorry, of the season. It's not the final season. We're going to head into Season 3 in the next episode. But today we'll have a quick season roundup, as we always do. We'll see how we got on in the competitions we were involved in, have a look at the other largest leagues around Europe, see who will be joining us in Europe next year, of course, now that we've qualified, and obviously have a final squad report to see who's done what this year, and maybe have a little bit of think about who we might be contemplating selling on in the summer transfer window. So we'll start with the competitions that we were involved in. Drop the video a like, by the way, if you enjoy, and of course subscribe to make sure you don't miss out on any of Season 3. Fatal is ongoing on the channel too, as is the Arsenal career mode, so of course make sure you sub for those too. But we were able to get ourselves a 5th placed finish in La Liga this season. After coming up from the league below, by winning the title, we've been able to get ourselves into the Europa League for next year. A single point behind Villarreal in 4th, a long way behind Real Madrid at the top. But to be fair, everybody was a long way behind Real Madrid at the top. We were only, I say only, 8 points behind Barcelona in 2nd. So an extremely strong first season for us in La Liga. I was hoping for a Europa League spot. I would have been happy with 6th, but 5th is even better, of course. Actually, decent defensive record this season as well. The 3rd best in the league with only 36 goals conceded. And the 4th best goals scored tally as well. So a very, very good year. 11 defeats, 10 draws, and just the 17 wins. But it's good enough to get us into the top 5, so I'm not really too fussed, to be honest. I'm very pleased with that first season. Eibar, Levante and Zaragoza will, unfortunately for them, be relegated this year. Madrid, Barcelona, Atleti and Villarreal will be in the Champions League. Real Madrid have done the double by winning the Copa del Rey on penalties against city rivals Atletico. We obviously won our pre-season tournament. Barcelona won the European Super Cup by 2-0 over last year's Europa League victors Fiorentina. Not sure who won in Europe this year, actually. We'll have a quick scroll across and see who won in Europe. Apologies that it takes 10 years for the slate to change. I will cut if it takes too much longer. Not only did Real Madrid do the double, they did the treble as well by smashing Tottenham Hotspur by 3-0 in the Champions League final. They knocked out Chelsea in the semis, Tottenham getting through against another Spanish team in the shape of Villarreal. They won, presumably on away goals there against Paris Saint-Germain in the quarterfinals. Real Madrid knocking out Wolfsburg and beating Arsenal in the round of 16. So not the most difficult routes to the final for Real, although obviously the semi would have been quite taxing against Chelsea. Tottenham beating out Dortmund, PSG. So to be fair, they've done well to get to the final or get to the semis. Villarreal would have been slightly more easy for them, although Villarreal gave me a good old game a couple of times this season, so we know how good they can be. But Real Madrid winning the treble this year, so fair play to them. Villarreal knocking out Barcelona actually in the quarterfinals, so clearly Villarreal are a tasty side, although Barca were indifferent this season, one of the only sides that we were able to do the double over. Inter Milan beat Manchester United by 4 penalties to 3 after a 1-1 draw in the Europa League final as well. So English teams losing in the final of both European competitions. Hopefully we can be on that chart somewhere next season with regards to the Europa League. I'd like to get to the knockouts. I'd like to get a decent way through the season or through the competition as well, if we possibly can. Let's have a look at player stats. See who won the Golden Boot, etc. this year, and unsurprisingly, it was our very own Joselu who won the Golden Boot in La Liga, and by some margin, actually, 7 goals from Leon, actually, of Osasuna, and Luis Suarez with 16, Ronaldo with 15. Any sign of Messi? No. Neymar with 12, Bale with 11. Messi not even on the list? Messi not even on the list. Didn't expect that. Assist-wise, Pineda, for me, got 11, so he's had a very good season. We obviously know how good he was this year. And to be fair, Fran Villalba, on loan for his 2nd season, got 7 assists as well, so fair play to him for that. Yeah, I didn't keep that many clean sheets. Hurtado got 8, although, of course, Iker Casillas had some in the first half of this season for us, and he was up there in 4th with 10 all told, now showing for Deportivo. We'll have a look and see at how the other big leagues around Europe went. See who will be playing in, or might potentially be playing in the Europa League next year. In England, when we get there, Colombia, Denmark, England. Manchester City win the league by 6 points from Arsenal. Liverpool and Manchester United round out the top 4. Spurs and Everton will join us in the Europa League next year. Chelsea finishing only 7th and getting no European football for next season. West Brom, Brighton and Bournemouth relegated. Burnley, Norwich and one of Derby, Hull, Wolves or Middlesbrough will join them in the Prem. And just for personal reasons, Cambridge United finished 11th in League 2. Great. In France, Paris Saint-Germain win the league by a single point from Monaco. Lyon in 3rd, Nice and Marseille round out the top 5 in France. Dortmund win the league in Germany by 3 points from FC Bayern München, with Wolfsburg and Leverkusen there in 3rd and 4th. Hertha Berlin up in 5th, which is good for them. And Schalke and Mönchengladbach only down in 7th and 8th respectively. Interesting to see Hoffenheim there in 6th too. Unexpected results then in Italy. Juventus win the Scudetto. Not an unsurprising result there. AC Milan in 2nd, Napoli in 3rd. Roma and Inter will join us in the Europa League next season. Of course, only the top 3 in Italy go through to the knockout stages. So we already know what the league looked like in Spain, so there's no need to look at that. We'll have a quick look at how the board thought we did this season. You can see our overall manager target was, or overall manager rating, sorry, was 84. I didn't sign a defensive youth academy player, but I don't think I got a single defensive youth academy player that was worthy of signing anyway. They want us to finish with £2.5 million unspent allocated funds, but obviously I spent a lot of money on wages in January, so we only had 1.3 million left. But we did finish inside, well, we did finish in the top 5, and they wanted us to finish mid-table, so we rather excelled there. We did get one of the youth development targets, which was sign at least 2 players younger than 20 with potential to get better than people in the current side. We matched the increase the stadium's capacity by 10% with regards to the amount of season ticket holders that are in there. Did that very early on. Financial one we didn't do, of course. We matched all of the domestic success when we got to the semi-finals of the Copa de España. They wanted us to reach the round of 32. Well, we entered in the round of 32, so it was kind of impossible for me not to be able to do that. And again, the long term of the finishing mid-table and the short term of avoiding relegation. We rather excelled there. No continental success objectives this year, but there will be one next year. So let's end with the final score report then, and we can see how everybody got on, and we can have a think about the summer transfer window. Joaquin Hurtado is up to 78 rated now, up 22 ratings this year. 22. Goalkeeper potential really means nothing on FIFA with regards to player growth, because you can just train and train and train and make them incredible. Only 9 clean sheets in 25 games though, so not the most amount of clean sheets, but I did alright defensively, I guess. I did alright defensively. You can see his stats there, vastly improved, although we do have Arrizabalaga coming in the summer, so Hurtado will see first team football cut down slightly, but obviously he'll still get a number of first team games with all of the competitions we'll be involved in next year, especially including Europe as well, to add to the mixed. Kiko Femenia has grown really nicely, up 2 to 77. Very good player for me. 2 goals, 4 assists. Really like him actually at right back. He can play at right mid as well. Tabio is up 2 as well at 77 rated. 2, growing across the board. He was rock solid for me this year. We do, of course, have an influx of new players coming in, though, so I'm not sure how these guys will hold down their first team spots. Ed Lewis is 74 rated at +5. However, a couple of you guys went on to like a player rating calculator on one of the various different third-party sites, and if Ed Lewis was actually listed as a centre-back, his stats would mean that he'd actually be a 78 or 79 rated centre-back. He's only 74 because he's listed down as a right-back, but if we've been playing him at centre-back, and if he were a centre-back by trade, he'd actually be 78 or 79 rated, so he'd actually be the highest rated centre-back that we currently own at the club. So I'm keen for him to stay in that role. Varela is up 2 to 77 as well, still young at 23. We do have a 79 rated left-back coming in, though, on a pre-contract, so we'll have to reassess when we get to the new transfer window. But all of these players so far, I'm quite happy to keep at the club. Orbelin Pineda is up 3 to 79. I love him. I love him. He's so good. 11 assists, 5 goals in 32 La Liga games. Only played 1 game in the Copa del Rey. Arrived for £9 million, worth every single penny and more. I'd have paid twice as much for him if I'd have known he was going to be that good. Galdamez is up 2 to 76. He spent a short while out injured, but he's growing really nicely actually in the tackling stats, which is good for that CDM role. Only 2 goals, 2 assists for him though. So I'm not sure how well he'll hold down that first team spot with other players coming in, but we'll have to wait and see. He'll definitely be involved in the first team squad. Jorge Ortiz might see his first team place. Well, will see his first team place taken from him with the influx of new players coming in. But whether we'll sell him on or not, I'm not sure. He is only 26 still and could be a good squad player for Europe. Alvaro Vadillo, really pleased with him. Look at the way his physical stats are growing as well. 97 acceleration. Madness. Only 3 goals, 2 assists though. Would have wanted something a little bit more, to be completely honest. But never mind. He's still a very effective player for us. Could be good off the bench, actually, maybe. Joaquin Correa, his loan spell will end this year. But 10 goals, 7 assists is a very good season for him in his final spell. Again, spent some time out injured, unfortunately. Heselu, I love him. He's deadly. Shame his physical stats aren't growing that well. To be fair, he's not growing that much at all this season, but 29 goals in 38 games prove just how vital he's been for us this season. And with Abel Hernandez coming in next year on a pre-contract, he's going to need to do that again to hold down that first team spot. Luis Sanchez has gone up 11 ratings with all the training we've been doing of him. He's now got 90 short passing. If only his physicals would grow a little bit more, then I'd consider throwing him into the starting lineup ahead of Galdamez, more so than Galdamez starting in front of him. But his technical's great, but I just need his physicals to be a little bit better for the way that I play my football, unfortunately. Jonathan Pereira, his stats are dropping now, and he'll move on. Despite scoring 14 goals in 21 games and actually scoring some very important goals, he's actually going to be sold next season, unfortunately for him. Timo Wolf, our Scout Future Star, is up 4 to 62. Haven't been training him that much, and I will use another Scout Future Star next season as well. So it will have Timo Wolf and Ed Lewis and someone else. Retsos is unhappy the amount of games he's played. He wants to leave. I don't want to let him leave. I'd rather he stayed and fought for his place and got some more football in Europe next year, considering we'll have a whole new competition for him to play in. Lato's loan spell, I think it was just the 1 year, wasn't it? I can't remember whether I loaned him for 2 or not. I think it was just the 1. He's all right. He did okay, but obviously with a new player coming in, we'll have too many left-backs if he is on loan for a second year. I might cancel it if he is. Fran Villalba, end of his second year loan spell as well. 8 goals, 11 assists for him. Really pleased with Fran Villalba. Again, some important goals and filled in well for Correa while he was injured. Caicedo, might sell him on, to be completely honest. We came in as a free agent. It's done all right, but 1 goal, 2 assists in 28 games, or 36 games even, isn't really good enough. Ritchie, now, we've got so many youngsters here. I'm going to try and send out on loan, because I'm not going to be able to give them the first team football that they need to develop with the amount of new players we've got coming in. So I'm going to, well, they are loan listed, I think. Aguirre is an exciting prospect. I will loan list him, though, for 1 year as well. Although he's growing really nicely, although I have been training him, admittedly. Guidi is up 3 to 74 too. He's already on the loan list. He played, how many games did he play in the end? Just the 4, but he's decent. He's decent. Sandoval is also on the loan list, I believe. Yes, he is. He's been training his finishing. I need his physicals to grow. I really want his physicals to grow. If he's going to do anything for me, he's going to have to improve on his physique. But Rivero is also loan list, presumably. Yes, he is. He's growing quite nicely. I've not played him, but as you can see from his technicals, he's growing across the board. Carl Wilkinson, I have been training slightly, and I will continue to do so next season. Could be we picked him up as a free agent, and his potential could be pretty damn good, to be fair. An exciting prospect is what it says. I don't know what that means with regards his potential overall, but if we continue to train him, then he can excel past that. Anyway, Nicola Fontana hasn't played for me, but growing really nicely across the board as well, which is good. He too will be loan listed, yes. So many youngsters at the club, it's ridiculous. Ernesto Carrazzo is growing across the board, showing great potential. We will loan list him as well. We also have Aguado. He's played a handful of games for me, actually. He scored a goal and got 2 assists in the Copa del Rey as well. Really pleased with him, but I will add him to the loan list for a year too, because of all of the new players that will be coming in. Prado will go on the loan list if he isn't already. He isn't, so we will. Again, growing across the board, which is good news. Long shot's up 12, which is odd, because I'm not training that, but looks like he could be quite the long shot merchant. Thomas Greco is up 3 to 54. He's only 16 though, so plenty of potential for him to grow into the mid-80s perhaps. Duarte is the player that I'm most excited about with regards to central midfield. I don't know whether to send him out on loan or to keep him at the club. I might send him out on loan for a year and see how he develops, and then maybe use him season 4. Vitti's up 3 to 63. I haven't been training him. He's loan listed, but he does all right whenever he comes on, so I can't complain. Jorge Sainz, his time at the club will come to an end of his second loan spell. Filled in for me quite nicely. Rencic, I will sell. Rencic, sorry. I will sell. His time at the club is definitely an end now. Jose Fernandez is brilliant. Still a very effective right back for me. Toche's retiring, I believe, at the end of the season. Yes, he is. Goodbye. You're awful. And Yassine will get sold probably rather than coming back on loan, unless that's a 2-year loan spell. I can't remember. But if he isn't, I will sell him on. So that's the state of the squad right now. I'm hoping with the 80+ million we got for our league finish, we'll actually have a decent transfer budget next season. But I'm not overly optimistic because of the way that FIFA works sometimes. We will have to wait and see. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel too to make sure you don't miss out on any more. I am going to have to record ahead by quite a few videos for the upcoming week next week because, of course, I'm in Gamescom in Germany. So I may not be able to take on your suggestions for the transfer window until the end of the window because, obviously, I'm going to have to make sure I keep up with the schedule, or at the very least keep up with a video a day of at least one of the series, whether it's this or Arsenal. And as such, of course, I won't be able to take on your suggestions immediately, but know that I will most definitely take on board all of your suggestions before the first transfer window ends. I will make sure of it. But for now, that's all from me for today. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.